once again.
Hello here, and we're going to look at 3 or 4 cars here now today, so I thought we'd video record it here, and you can come along and see what we're up to. It's Corona COVID-19 lockdown number 3, so most of the jobs we're doing at the minute are quite minor, so that's the one good advantage of the Corona, is most of the jobs are nice and easy, and it's just mainly people have been leaving their cars lying around for a long time and they're struggling to get them started. So we've got 3 or 4 booked in here, all cars that are not starting, so we're going to look at each one and see what the story is. So let's go. First one is a Vauxhall Astra. Here we are inside the car. Click in and no start. Just going to test the battery. It's 440. It's got 87 cranking amps. We've put a battery booster on there. We're going to start it up, let it run for 15 minutes, switch it off and see if the battery has taken its charge. So now it's started up, and what the customer is saying is, obviously during the lockdown here, we're on the COVID-19 lockdown, he hasn't really been driving the car once a week to Asda, which is around about half a mile away, so it's not been getting a good charge on the battery. Now we're going to test the alternator, make sure it's working, and we've got 15 volts, so the alternator is working fine. So all we need to do now is just make sure the battery is taking charge. And you can see we have the code 60 there on the dash, and I'll show you how to reset that while we're here. So what we need to do to reset this is put the driver's windows all the way down, and then all the way back up without stopping. Same on the passenger side, all the way down and all the way up. Then you'll see there the code will automatically just disappear on its own. So hope that helped if that's what you're looking for. Just another bit of the procedure of changing the battery there. So now we're going to turn the car off, just make sure all of the lights are off, close the doors, then we can retest the battery. It's already on our 440 setting there. And you can see there, after 20 minutes of the engine running, it's still saying replace the battery. So we're going to recommend he changes that. And that should be all for this car. We'll fit a battery if need be, and we'll see you on the next car. Next car we're going to look at here is a Hyundai Santa Fe, and that's not starting either. So we'll have a look and see what's going on with this one.
The roundabout, first exit.
And here is our next vehicle, Hyundai Santa Fe, not starting. So we're going to get the keys and have a look at it. So first thing we're going to do, we haven't tried to start it yet, but we're just going to test the battery, because he said it was making a clicking noise. 700 cranking amps. And the battery is a bit dead there, but he's been a bit naughty, and we've been to this car a few months ago and it's had a new battery, and he's told me since the battery's been put in he hasn't drove the car because of the COVID lockdown. But like I say to all people, don't just put a new battery in your car. If you're not going to use it, start it once a week. You don't even have to drive it, just let it run for 10 minutes. So we're going to get it jump started and then retest the battery after it's been running. So we've got our jump starter on there and started the car up. Just have a quick look there yet. So we're getting 14 volts. Connectors come off. So same procedure again, we're going to let the car run for 15 minutes, see if the battery takes a charge. If not, we'll be replacing it, and this battery is under warranty from us, so it would be a free of charge if it does need replacing. Now it's been about 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to switch the engine off and retest the battery. And you can see there it's got a good charge now. And obviously after another 15 minutes or so of driving, you'll see it'll increase further on that. So the battery's fine, and he just needed to get it started. So that should be all on this van today, on this car, sorry. And we'll see you at the next car. So that's all two done, and our next car is a Range Rover, not starting again. Similar sort of issue. So we're going to go and have a look at it and see what's the problem with this one. Here's the car. It's a 3-litre diesel Range Rover, and it's not starting. So we're going to get our key down in here and have a look at what we're getting. So it's a crank and no start, so the engine is turning but it's not firing up. Along here you've got the airbox inlet, just remove that, and we're going to put a bit of spray in there and try and start it. And there you can see it started with some spray in the intake, some easy starter brake cleaner. So it's got a fuel related issue, so we're going to have a look at trying to fix that. Change the fuel filter, pulled off the bolt here from there. I'm going to open this and change it. So we put a new filter on there. Now we're going to fill the new filter with some injector cleaner. So we've changed the fuel filter, T40 on here, and these are 7mm bolts on here, just to get them off. Let's put the key in, see if it's going to start. It may struggle to start for a minute because obviously we've had the fuel filter off, but we have filled it back up before we started it. So let's just run the ignition a couple of times first, so the primer pump gets to work. And we'll do this 3 times to build up the fuel pressure on the primer pump. And hopefully that seems like it's a problem all sorted. Beforehand it wouldn't start on its own accord, only if you sprayed it with Easy Start or brake cleaner. And we're not going to know for definite on this one. Well, it's starting on its own there, so that's a very good sign, but we're going to leave it until tomorrow morning and see if it restarts again. The engine sounds nice and sweet. So the next car is an Audi A3, and it's leaking some sort of fluid from underneath. He's not too sure what it is, so we're going to go and have a look and see what the story is on this. So we'll be there in a few minutes. Here's the car, Audi A3. You can see on the driveway here it's leaving some patches. And if you have a look around the top of the engine, you can see some wet here, but that's just where he's topped up some oil and spilled it. So we're going to have a look all around, see if we can see anything dripping from around the engine. And if you look all the way along the line on the head of the engine there, you can see it's wet. So that'll be the valve cover gasket or rocker gasket that will be leaking, and we're just going to look underneath the car, make sure that there isn't any other leaks. So you know, it's common for them to have more than one leak. You can see there it's making its way all the way down to the bottom of the engine, leaving a big wet patch all the way across. So we're going to have a little bit of a better look under here, see if there's anywhere else we can see it coming from. If we come around to the back of the engine, where the rocker gasket is, just up there, you can see there's a little bit of damp, but it gets drier as it goes down, and then the wet starts again. So it seems to be coming from a different leak around the front end of the engine. So we're gonna get some of this plastic off and have a look at the front section and go from there. It's just all the way around the plastic here. You got some of these T20 torque bolts. Just gonna get these all open. You can see a couple more there going along. I get all of these off and remove this plastic tray. So we've got our tray off, and we can have a look here. You can see the oil filter housing is very wet, so it looks like it's coming from there, unless we can see it coming from anywhere higher, which above, once you go above it, it looks dry, and it just starts around here, this area. So it looks like it needs a new oil filter housing. So we've got here some brake cleaner and some tissue, and we're just gonna give this area a clean up, and then we'll run the car for a few minutes and just see if we can see any sort of visible leaks returning straight away. Give us a better idea. So we're going to clean this area up. Now we're going to let the engine run for 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and see if we can notice any visible leaks coming from a particular point. So we've cleaned this up, and you can see just around there getting a slight little mist in the oil coming from the filter housing again, so that would need replacing. If you can see there, we had two leaks, one from underneath and one from the above here on the rocker cover, so it needs a couple of separate oil issues fixing on this car. So we'll be finished here on it now and just get the rest of the stuff booked in for the repairs. We've got a new fuel filter, and it comes with a new gasket seal. So what we're going to do is we're going to drain the oil out here, change the fuel filter, put a new gasket on it, and hopefully it should all go nice and smooth, and the new gasket will hopefully just fix this oil leak here. Here we've got our socket, 36mm. Just going to get it on there. Yep, fits perfectly, so we're going to open this. So we've got the old filter housing out here, and you can see this filter is deforming its shape, so it's well past its due date anyway, by the looks of it. So we're going to get this open, pull it apart there. Just inside the inside of the housing here, you've got a little seal. Needs our pick here. Just grab, sorry, got a pick and just grab hold of that. Get it out. And we've got a new seal here for it. There's our new seal. So we can put this in here. Just make sure it's down all the way around. Get our filter and push it down in there. into the housing, and we can go ahead and fit it back to the car. You can see here the old mount that the filter sits in was stuck in the old filter, so you gotta make sure and get that out. And just click it back into place in there. That shouldn't have came out with the old filter. So we can go ahead and put that back again. Now the filter's all done, the underneath is all clean, but he's got an engine management light on it here. So we're just going to check that for him while we're here. So we've got one fault there, just came up, we need to go in and read it. Manifold absolute pressure sensor, circuit high. So that's the map sensor, or the boost sensor basically. So for the time being we're going to clear that and see if his fault comes back. Most probably will if it's been there once. But we'll call it an end on this. That's all done for today. And we'll see you next time.